I hereby call to order the Beer Brothers Order of the Royal Order of the Burn Pot to order with a roll call. Beer Brother Mark.
Here.
Beer Brother Brett.
I'm here.
Beer Brother Dan. Here. We have a quorum. Shall we get started? And I believe that through the lottery, it's now time for Mark's beer to be sampled tonight. And why don't you present the beer? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Beer Brother Mark, since you are the firemaster,
Burn
pot, the firemaster, would you please lead us in lighting of the ceremonial burn pot?
I feel like we need to have some kind of like music or something playing for this.
Or sword or...
Da, 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 da,
okay, we'll get it going.
Oh. All right, here we go. All lit. Popping away.
Okay, there we go.
All right.
This is from the when we had the power outage the other night. So it was a candle that was already going. So there we go.
The candle is lit, and so am I. Let's start this thing.
Already lit.
Okay, so we go back. Beer Brother Mark, it is your week to present a beer. So what are you presenting to us tonight?
Tonight, I have an Old Faithful here. It's a milk stout, and this is, to me, when it comes to there's entry-level beers into craft beers, I feel like. There's beers that are not too crazy. They're just good damn beers. This is one of those. For somebody that's used to drinking kind of your traditional beer, this probably would be a good way to get off on the track and go on this direction. It's not too strong. It's got a nice, rich flavor. It's not too hoppy. But let's go ahead and try it, and let's review this beer. Let's open it up and see how this goes, guys. I like the name. I like the label. And I'm actually putting mine in. I like it. I'm actually putting mine in a very close competitor to Duck Rabbit, Left Hand Brewery, which makes a really good milk stout also. So I'm going to go ahead and pour in here, guys.
Well, I'm going total fanboy with a Duck Rabbit glass while drinking my Duck Rabbit.
I'm jealous because I have a Duck Rabbit glass, but I forgot to grab it. I'm drinking with the Southbound out of Savannah.
Oh, the smell. I mean, that is just a kick butt delicious beer. It's got a great aroma. You know, guys, sometimes there's been beers that we've had over the years. It rhymes. Then beers we've had over the years have brought me to tears. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I'll stop the poetry. But there's beers that we've had where sometimes the aroma is pretty rank, and then you taste it and the taste is good, or vice versa. And it's interesting. This one is kind of like there's no hidden things happening. You smell it, it smells damn good, and you taste it, and it tastes very close to the way it smells. Who wants to start on the review? You guys want to just all take a sip?
It's your beer. It's your beer. Lead the way.
I'll tell you why I like it. It reminds me of, when I was younger, when I first got into drinking craft beer, there weren't a lot of choices for craft beer. That ages me considerably and puts me into another bracket, but that would have been in the 70s. And in the 1970s, we had Guinness when it came to dark beer, and that was pretty much it. You could go to a bar and maybe they'd have some Guinness. And I had a great place I used to go to in Waukesha, Wisconsin, that had Guinness on tap. And I'm not plugging Guinness by any means here, but it was a good, rich, dark beer at the time, and that's all we had. Since that time, we've had things like Belhaven Scottish Ale come into place, and that's a wonderful favorite. We've got Monday Night Brewing Company's Drafty Kilt, and we've got this wonderful little taste here, which is the Duck Rabbit Milk Stout. I like a milk stout because it's smooth, and you guys know that as well as anybody. I'm not big into hoppy beers with a bite on them. This one's got a very nice tone. It rolls off your tongue. It doesn't bite in any way. It's a gentle beer, and it's a rich beer. To me, it's a good winter beer to enjoy. In the wintertime. I don't know if I'd want to drink this again in the summer. This is more of a winter drink for me.
Well, and something about it is that it's kind of like the old faithful geyser. It's always there. It's one that you go into the store and just look around and you can't decide what you want. You can go pick this thing up and know that you're going to have a good beer
Yep.
You're going to be able to enjoy it. You're going to be able to, savor it. It's got all the flavors you're looking for, and it's just a good go-to beer for that. And Mark, I'm glad you picked this out. I haven't had this for a while.
I haven't had it for a while either. I mean, we used to drink this when I still lived over in Overton. We drank this all the time.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, you stopped by and visited years ago, and I think they were operating out of a trailer, weren't they?
Yeah.
Did you stop by one time on the way home?
These guys are up in. I get them confused with Left Hand. This one's in North Carolina, isn't it?
Yeah, this is in Farmville.
Yeah. So Farmville's almost to the coast, up in North Carolina. My wife's family got relatives that live over that way, and we were on the way there, and I said, my God, look, there's a sign for, Duck Rabbit Brewery. And she was like, oh, crap. And so it's like, well, guess where we're going? So we stopped there before we went to see the family, and we went to the tasting area. And it's a little teeny, I don't know how it is now, but this was probably at least 5, 6, 7 years ago at least.
Yeah.
And more than that, probably. And it was
I remember you showing me some pictures of the front of it. That's the reason why it sort of, it was kind of a small operation then.
But they've got great distribution now because, like Brett was saying, you can get it, easily all the time. It's a pretty common beer.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And as I say,
this is roastier. This is roastier than our darker roast than I remember.
Yeah, it's rich.
And so it's got that little bit of although it's got like a little bit of a sweet edge to it. It's got that that little bitter burnt at the end, or in the middle, like in the middle of your tongue.
Do either of you guys?
A little bit of light through it, but not much.
It has an interesting bubble pattern. I don't know, maybe it's just the glassware, but really like vertical bubbles coming up in it still.
Yeah.
So, okay, here's the $1 million question. What is a milk stout? Do either of you guys know? I'm not sure. I remember hearing about it. Is there milk involved with the brewing process?
I have a book that someone gave me for either birthday or Christmas at one point. Maybe it's one of my stays in the hospital or something. I could run and get it and look.
Why don't you guys don't mind? Got a minute? Because I'd be curious to know.
Hold on, I got to step into the other office.
Well, this is one of those things through the magic of editing.
That's true.
That's
we can. Yeah, he'll be right back here in just a second.
We can snap our fingers. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, well, I'm digging through everything in here now. I have my portable microphones.
Oh, look, we can hear him still.
Yeah. Hey, ow! It fell on my foot.
Dan, this is a G-rated show, so.
Well, hey, I'm not using some of the curse words you did when you burned your finger.
I can beat
my first episode. Okay, I'm back. Okay.
This is just got it. As I say, I can't say enough about. I don't know how big they are now. I'm assuming they've grown. Oh yeah.
Companion to beer, and Beers of the World, which I think that is more about brands. So let's look up
a milk stout.
Milk stout. Hopefully it has a decent index. I'm
curious if milk is brewed with this or what they do, because it is creamy and it is smooth.
Well, you could use a milk, like a milk malt kind of thing, powdered milk.
I can edit this dry part out.
Okay.
And go right to this is the editor.
Milk stout. 340. Okay, let's see what 340 has to say.
And he's back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's magic. It's amazing.
Magic of editing.
The magic of editing.
It's just like Bewitched, you can just, do your little thing, and he appeared. Bing.
Bing.
What was the guy that Paul Lynde played at what was his character? You guys remember that on that show? Paul Lynde, he was crazy.
Oh yeah.
That may be a little before.
Oh, that's right. Dan would remember, but you're not.
I remember him. He was in the
he was a warlock.
What was the three? The Squares. Yeah, he was on Bewitched.
Yeah.
He was kind of a buffoon, but he was also starred a lot in
one of those game shows.
One of those game shows. Yeah, he was a frequent. I'm
milking my milk here. It's being milked. I'm not drinking.
Oh, here's something on Magic Hat.
Go past that. Yeah.
Actually, Magic. It's about the Magic Hat. No. Well, now here's the one called Parsons Lacto Milk Stout. Well, you know what? They might have Duck Rabbit in here. Let me look. You never know.
All right. So while you're doing that, it's interesting because
no Duck Rabbit. Okay. So what it says here, here's one from another country. It says Parsons Lacto Milk Stout is a sweet dark beer from the Mediterranean island of Malta. Milk Stout is a traditional British ale style brewed with lactose, which is basically milk sugar. The beer doesn't contain milk. Lactose cannot be fermented by ale yeast, so it stays behind in the finished beer, resulting in a sweet flavor and a smooth body in a beer that's relatively low in alcohol. So what is this? This is
I was looking on the bottle and I didn't see it. And I was going to just go to their website and see if it had what the percentage was.
Yeah, because it just says what the volume is. I don't see the. It's got it
interesting.
hidden somewhere.
Yeah, I just see milliliters on there.
5.7%.
I say, well, that's for a lot of some of the ones we've had last few weeks. That's a lot lower. So so a milk stout is a traditional British ale style brewed with lactose, which is milk sugar, and lactose cannot be fermented. So that leaves a little bit of a. Well, so the question is, what's the percentage of lactose, or in the mix in the in the build.
When I smell it,
the
aroma to me has a little bit of to me, I smell a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of coffee, even though I know it's not part of the process, but just the what's in there, it just smells a little like it.
Mm-hmm. The notes, I'm on Beer Advocate right now, and the Duck Rabbit Milk Stout is traditional full-body stout brewed with lactose milk sugar.
Yep.
Lactose is unfermentable by brewer's yeast. It remains in the beer. This one
sounds just like
the subtle sweetness and fullness of flavor imparted by this sugar balances the sharpness of the highly roasted grains that give this delicious beer its black color. All year long, Milk Stout is the #1 selling beer for Duck Rabbit.
Yep, I believe it. Yeah. Well, so like I said, you get the sweet edges, and then you have that burnt, not quite bitter, but a definitely burnt flavor, like in the center of your mouth.
Yeah.
The taste buds on the side taste the sugar, and that finishes on the roof of your mouth. So it's a nice balance. It's a nice balance between sweet and dark.
They made a good beer. They really did.
This is a by the fireside when it's cold out, drinking.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's just a perfect beer for that.
To me, this would be really good paired with some really good chocolate. I keep pairing things with sweets, but
I kind of agree with you, but then you could overdose on the chocolate part. It's kind of too much.
Maybe some s'mores,
Yeah, well,
organic marshmallows.
We've had that discussion. Well, to me, s'mores are the greatest overrated dessert in the world.
I think it's sugar cookies. Like milk and cookies have a sugar cookie.
Oh, I like that.
The vanilla and the sugar cookie with the milk stout with the dark sweetness.
Pecan pie.
I could eat this with pecan pie or a really good super duper vanilla bean ice cream.
Oh yeah. Well, we like that ice cream stuff. You could pour this over the top a little bit if you wanted to.
Oh yeah.
Make a syrup.
Little milkshake.
Yeah.
It's good.
So, Beer Brother Mark, this is so you would pair it. That's what you would pair it with.
Probably pecan pie.
On your this would go. There was a little place on Blue Ridge Parkway. Well, I guess it's now 30 years ago that used to sell a pecan cheesecake pie. It was half cheesecake, half pecan on top, and it was just inside North Carolina. And I would drive out of my way. Anytime I was coming down from Roanoke on an assignment, anywhere on the Blue Ridge Parkway, I had to drive out of my way and go buy one. And then I went down there one time, and they'd gone. It was in an old house, literally on the Parkway. And then I went down, and they were out of business. And I just,
oh man!
But this would have gone excellent with that.
Would go real good.
So what's your rating on this?
Probably a 9.5.
9.5.
It's not a 10. You know, you know what my 10 is. My 10 is probably going to be. Oh crap! I think it's an Avery. What was the one that we were talking that was gold?
Tweak. It's either Tweak or
yeah. Those were to me were really way up there.
Tweak or Uncle Jacob, and that, you know.
Yeah, the high gravity. But again, the rating I'm giving this is pretty darn high rating. I really like this beer.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Well, for being a semi-mass produced beer, I know it's still a small brewery, but you can buy it all over the place, grocery stores and beer stores. It's probably the number one beer in this, in the stouts for me, in that non-specialty special beer. Can I say that? Non-specialty special beer. So I would go 9. I'd go 9. Strong 9.
I'd go 9. I'd go 9 because this is a beer that I really enjoy, and although I drank mine way too fast, I think it's a nice session beer. Just a nice sit and relax, kind of thing. But I don't think I could drink 2 in a sitting because I would feel like it'd be too much.
Yeah, it's heavy.
But it's a heavy. It's a not a light beer. So I'd give it a 9. I mean, I think they make a good brew, and I would definitely, if one's if I don't know if I've ever seen it on tap. I'm sure it's available on tap, but
where did I have? I had it on tap somewhere, and it's of course it's much richer and creamier on tap.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
a milk stout on nitro. Didn't they have
there is a nitro. Yeah. I don't know if Duck Rabbit makes it. Remember I was telling you about Left Hand? I think Left Hand makes the nitro.
Yeah.
But that's it. It's nice. It's really nice that, again, referring back to the 70s, how limited the variety was to now be able to get so many different types and be able to really micro tune the type of beer that you like. Versus years ago, it's like, well, you like a dark beer or a light colored beer. That was it. You didn't have any choices. There's so much infused different flavors in beer now, and that's pretty nice.
Unfortunately, we're coming up on Memorial Day, and it seems like every time Memorial Day hits, all these restaurants think, oh, it's kind of like, you can't wear white until after Memorial Day. It's kind of like, well, you can only drink IPAs after Memorial Day. And trying to find a good stout in a restaurant after Memorial Day is like,
give it up. Give it up.
Get it.
Yeah. Well, guys,
Mark.
Good choice, Mark.
Well,
excellent choice.
Well, it's an old standby. It's one of those, that we all 3 of us feel the same way about. We all like this beer. And I think that's going to be kind of similar to a lot of the people that see this or that would try it. Now, there's going to be a lot of people that don't even want dark beer in a million years, and that would turn them off. But if you've got any tendency to like a beer that's got a little richer, heavier flavor, this is the one for sure.
Definitely.
And the nice thing about this is this isn't, not to slam Guinness, but this is not a big, huge production beer. It's still a small brewery for Guinness.
But remember, you can't compare a milk stout to Guinness stout.
No, it's 2 different things.
Yeah.
Even though, believe it or not, they make a milk stout now.
Oh, well, Guinness also makes a whole lot of brews that we never see over here in the United States, too.
Yeah. So, guys, this is about empty. I'm going to finish this off.
Yeah.
I have a drop left.
Do you think we should call it an evening with our?
I think so. I think for next week, let's go ahead and do a preview. I think we're ready to rotate back to Beer Brother Brett's choice.
Mm-hmm.
And you have, I believe, a sour next week?
There's a sour, but I also did leave another beer at Beer Brother Mark's house.
Yeah, you've got to come by, or I'll drop it off at your place.
Oh, really? And what brew would that be?
Sweet Baby Jesus, I think was what it was called.
Oh, is that DeClaw?
Yeah, a DeClaw.
Yeah.
I've never had it, but I think we ought to do the sour, kind of little
change things up, because we've been.
I know how much you guys like a sour. I know how much you guys like sour.
Well, Mark hasn't had his opportunity to wax poetic. over his feelings about the beers yet. He's been
Let's bring Mark
we've
out.
been too easy on him.
Yes.
Well, you've had really nice, gentle beers.
Yes,
Now Brett's about to punch. Brett's about to punch me in the gut.
Well,
when
this
we
one,
had when we had the Magic Hat and you ended up spewing it in the backyard. So
yeah, I didn't have. I had never had this one before, and when I was unloading it from the car, I dropped one. It fell out of the
Yeah.
six pack and exploded. So I had to drink one pretty rapidly. And
Yeah.
woo, you guys are in for a treat next week.
cool.
Some personality, Brett.
It,
Okay, so let's extinguish the
Good
candles.
night, everybody.
And we come back again and we light our burn pots next week. Good night.